2022 Dodge Challenger Coupe. Dodge's big muscle car is a hoot to drive, even if it doesn't feel quite as sharp as the Chevrolet Camaro or Ford Mustang. Of the three, the 2022 Challenger is the most old school, which makes sense since the design dates to 2008, which itself recalls the Challengers from the early 1970s. This is a big, heavy coupe that feels big and heavy from behind the wheel. Thankfully, there's a diverse selection of available V8 engines that are more than capable of imparting this big coupe with rapid straight-line velocity. Or just big smoky burnouts if that's more your thing. The Challenger comes with a standard V6, but it's the SRT and supercharged Hellcat engines that will blast you down the local drag strip with joyful abandon. The Challenger isn't all about brute force. The ride is quite comfortable, even when you opt for models with a sportier suspension setup. Most of today's advanced driving aids are also available thanks to regular updates over the years. Overall, we're fond of the Challenger, however dated it may be. The Challenger concedes points to rivals when it comes to interior refinement and sporty driving dynamics. But drivers who value comfort and utility will likely prefer the Dodge. The Challenger is always a hoot to drive. With the 6.4-liter V8, power is readily available in any gear at almost any speed. We tested the RT Scat Pack widebody with the manual transmission. 0 to 60 miles per hour took just 4.9 seconds at the Edmunds test track. It's properly quick but slower than other modern muscle cars by a few tenths. Braking is strong. Our test Challenger stopped from 60 miles per hour in 105 feet, a short distance for such a big vehicle. The Dodge's beefy size makes in-town maneuvering a bit tough, but it's a champ out on the open road. The Challenger is pretty capable on curvy roads too. Well, as long as you don't try driving it like a nimble sports car. Its mass and weight become readily apparent if you try to drive quickly through tight turns. Our tester, with the widebody package, had a stiffer adaptive suspension than even the standard RT Scat Pack, but it didn't ruin the ride. Highway ride quality is very good, and seat comfort is near the top of the class. A relatively quiet cabin helps make this a nice place to be for long rides. Dual-zone climate control is standard on the RT and it maintains the desired cabin temp well. The climate is controlled via the touchscreen or knobs and buttons directly behind the shifter. Our test car had the optional heated and ventilated front seats. The seat heating works well, but the ventilation could be more effective. The Challenger is a king among the muscle coupes in passenger and cargo space. It's far more practical than its crosstown competition and has the roomiest cabin in the segment. The rear seat isn't quite fit for all sizes, but it's far bigger than competitors' back seats and offers 3 seats versus 2. Outward visibility is generally poor, but that's typical for the segment. The blind spots over both shoulders are significant, and the windshield pillars obstruct forward sightlines more than average. A large display rear-view camera and blind spot monitoring help considerably, but the camera quality is low. This is one of the best plug-and-play systems out there. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto accompany the Challenger's already user-friendly Uconnect system. It's very easy to use with multiple solutions for the same commands. But the interface looks a bit dated compared to those in the rest of the class. The voice controls use an easy-to-learn structure and accept basic commands for the audio, navigation and hands-free calling. Connecting your smartphone makes things even more familiar. The driver convenience package adds blind spot monitoring and rear cross-traffic alert. They worked well during our test without false alerts. Big American coupes aren't exactly perfect examples of utility, but the Challenger leads the class easily in this category. The trunk opening is large, and its capacity blows the class away with a midsize sedan like 16.2 cubic feet of cargo space. The rear seatbacks fold in a 60/40 split for extra utility. There's decent small item storage throughout the cabin, but the cup holders are right behind the gearshift, which is somewhat problematic with a manual transmission. The door pockets are small, with small bottle holders up front. In coupes this size, space is at a premium, but the Challenger uses what it has relatively well. EPA estimated fuel economy for the 6.4-liter V8 is 17 mpg combined. That's one of the lowest ratings in the segment, even before you add the widebody package. The wide tires add rolling resistance as well, making real-world fuel economy even lower. In our testing, we struggled to even meet the EPA's city estimate of 14 mpg. The Challenger offers decent equipment for the money. The 6.4-liter engine is appropriately priced against other V8 upgrades in the class. The widebody package adds big bucks to the price tag, but the resulting wheel, tire and suspension upgrades, not to mention the enhanced visual swagger, make it worth it. The Challenger's interior build quality is solid, but the quality of the materials becomes less appealing the higher you go up the trim ladder. By the time you're into Hellcat territory, it'll be obvious that you're paying for a big motor, not an exquisite interior design. The Challenger, especially with the widebody package, is an American muscle car with a heaping helping of personality. It'll put a massive smile on your face every time you drive it. It's also surprising how well the car's styling has aged considering that the car has been around for more than a decade without a full redesign.